is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but time waits for no one, and you better figure out how the hell to deal with this stuff. So, I just got off the phone a few minutes ago with one of my oldest and closest friends. And Sarah, if you're catching this, hi, honey, it was so good to catch up with you. But boundaries actually were a topic of conversation. So, this is something a lot of people, especially women, we struggle with it. So, let's talk about this. This information, by the way, is from Psychology Today. Look, all a boundary is it's just telling people what you're willing to put up with. We teach people how to treat us. And what we put up with is really indicative of our self worth and our confidence. People pleasers, people pleasers, we want so badly to get along. We want to avoid conflict. And what happens is we adopt a go along to get along mentality. And the problem with that is it puts our own needs aside. But that's what happens when you don't set boundaries. Your needs don't get met. So, how do you set boundaries? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got people in your life who are not used to you having boundaries and you suddenly set them, you are going to get pushback. They are going to be pissed because they're used to walking all over you, and all of a sudden the little doormat's got a spine. It's a lot of fun though. They'll get mad, but they'll either get over it or they won't. And if they don't, bye, Felicia. It is fun. I'm telling you, it's not easy. But it's a lot of fun once you get going on it. First, first thing you need to know if you want to set boundaries, you have to know yourself. Know thyself. What matters to you? What are your values? Now, on the surface, that sounds really simple, right? Oh, sure, Court, I know that. Okay. What are they? Can you give me a real quick, like 60-second synopsis? Because if you can't, then you don't really know. You have a vague idea, and most of us have a vague idea, but unless you've really put some thought into it, you probably would be hard pressed to truly identify and to get specific. Sure, we can all tell you what the generalities are, but to get specific, you're going to have to get to know yourself. The more you know yourself and the more you're in touch with your values and your beliefs, guess what? It's going to be that much easier for you to set boundaries because the more connected you get with that part of yourself, the less likely you are to want to put up with anybody's crap. Number two, this is a tough one. Accept responsibility. You played a role in this. If you've been a doormat, guess what? You played a role. Your role was being the doormat. Your responsibility in this is that you never stood up for yourself. If you don't set and enforce your boundaries, you can't get mad at other people if they don't respect them. How the hell can they if they don't know what they are? And why should they respect them if you don't respect yourself enough to stand firm on your boundaries? No, you're not going to treat me that way. If you don't have enough love for yourself to do that, why should anybody else care? They don't. I can tell you right now, they won't. They won't care. Number three, I think this is a big part of accepting responsibility. You have to love yourself. Everything that you've done, all the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all led you to where you are today. Now, maybe you're not real happy with where you are today, but you know what? The coolest thing is you have the ability to change. You do. It's not easy, but if you love yourself, you'll know you're worth the effort. You need to embrace the fact that you've made it this far. Look, life is hard. A lot of people have not survived to this point. You did. You're doing some good things. Now, that's not saying that your life is perfect. In fact, I would hope that you always have a desire to learn and to grow. But you have to love yourself. You have to respect yourself. When you do, when you truly care about yourself, you're going to be a lot less willing to put up with jerks because you know you deserve better than that. And you do. And you know what? The people who don't want to respect your boundaries, it tells you everything you need to know about them. And if you can just gently, you don't need to be a jerk. There's very rarely need to be rude and mean to somebody. But if it's not someone you can gently ease out of your life, you're going to have to, A, you're going to have to figure out how the hell to set and stick by your boundaries. But B, you're going to have to learn how to limit your interactions with them. I used to work with this lady. Oh my gosh, was she difficult? Well, I couldn't ease her out of my life. I had to deal with her. She did not respect boundaries very well. Although I will say she was one of the first people who started teaching me about how to set them for myself. And I remember one day I had to go take some paperwork to her. And I was walking across from my building to hers, and I caught myself, oh my gosh, and she's going to be so mean, and she's this, and all those things. But I realized my anxiety, it's not that long of a walk, and my anxiety was going through the roof. I'm like, holy crap, I'm giving this crazy lady way too much power over me. So what I started to do instead, the rest of the walk, I told myself, she has an incredible eye for detail that most people don't, which was true. You could hand her a 20-page document and she would find within seconds on page 13, paragraph 4, you didn't dot your I. She really was that kind of, and it was so annoying. But once I started looking at it from that perspective, I could appreciate that aspect of her personality more. And then when she would start to bark at me, well, you did this wrong, I would smile very sweetly and say, okay, send me an email. And as soon as I get back to my desk, I'll take care of it. And if she tried to argue that, I would smile very sweetly. And, no, I already told you, you just send me an email and I'll take care of it. And I'd walk away. I wasn't going to stand there and argue with her. Why? I'd set my boundary and I was damn well going to stick with it. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you that we ended up being good friends because I ain't going to lie to you. But it was a lot easier to work with her after that. You need to be choosy. You need to love yourself enough. You need to love yourself enough. Be choosy. Be very choosy about the people you let get close to you. They have to respect you. If they don't let them in. It's that simple. Number 4, heed the warnings. People tell you who they are. You just have to pay attention. Listen. When somebody tells you who they are, listen. Now, here's where I fall into a big trap. Don't project. I have a bad habit of I'll decide that I like somebody for whatever reason, probably usually arbitrary, but I'll decide I like somebody. And then when I like you, I'm going to just keep handing you rope and handing you rope and handing you rope. But, folks, red flags are there for a reason. You've got to heed the warnings. You've got to heed the warnings. People will always tell you who they are. And you know what? If you still choose to associate with them, then don't get mad. Because this takes us right back to number 2. You have to accept responsibility. You played a role in this. Own it. Number 5. Yeah, this is one I struggle with. I'm not proud to admit this, but don't be a fixer. You can't fix other people. First of all, chances are nobody asked your pushy ass to fix anything. Second of all, change has to come from within. You can't force somebody to change, no matter how bad you may want them to. But if you're a fixer, you know why you do it? You're looking for external validation. If I can fix their problems, mine won't be so bad. If I can fix their problems, maybe I can fix mine. Fix your own. Fix your own. You'll have a lot better luck working on your own problems. You cannot fix other people. And finally, number 6, you have to remember, it may not seem like it sometimes, but you are in charge. You and only you can decide. English is my first language. You're the only person who can decide what you're willing to put up with. And you know what? You are allowed to change your mind on something. You're allowed to change your entire belief system. You don't have to ask anybody permission. You don't owe anybody an explanation. But you do need to remember, good grief, remember that you are in charge. So if people are walking all over you, guess what? You're allowing it. You're a doormat. And I say that as somebody who is a chronic people pleaser who struggles with this constantly. When I was first diagnosed with fibromyalgia, one of the first things they told me was, you need to learn to say no. I was like, what? Well, the problem is, for people like me, we're so aware that we're not able to get the things done that we want to get done. Certainly not the things that we feel pressured to do. So then someone comes along, hey, will you do this? Absolutely. I'm really bad about that. I would bog myself down unnecessarily at work because I was always, absolutely, I'll take on that new responsibility. You need help with that? Sure. I'm buried up to my eyebrows, but of course I'll help you. You know what? I was in charge. I was the one who allowed that to happen. I had another point there, but I forgot it. So, I've got to tell you guys, obviously, I'm in a really good mood. I had to take some, I don't like taking it, but I had to take some Tylenol PM last night because I haven't been sleeping. And I still didn't sleep that great. I only got about 6 hours, but I feel a lot. That was enough. I feel a whole lot better today. That being said, I'm exhausted and I'm achy. I'm a little crabby, but all in all, it's a freaking beautiful day in East Texas. I just spent about an hour on the phone with one of my oldest and dearest friends, and life is pretty good. So, on that note, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I will be back probably about the same time.